Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Client Acquisition and Scaling for Web Devs, SEOs, and Marketing Agencies. We do this every single Monday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, or I suppose it's Central Daylight Time right now. And we do it so we can get our businesses off to a great start every single week. It helps me do exactly the same thing. It pumps me up. It inspires me to go out and do great things throughout the week. Now, I tend to get most of my work done really from Monday through Wednesday every week. And by Thursday or Friday, I am checking out, and I usually take 3 or 4 day weekends. Do I work during that time? Yeah, a lot of times I do here and there, but I like to wind down at the end of the week. And that's why for me, Mondays are so important. I try to get an amazing amount of work done on Mondays, and hopefully you guys are inspired to do the same. Remember, this is actually sponsored by Agency Fast Track, which is the training organization I created right around 2 years ago now to help agencies fast track their business. If you haven't visited, go see us at agencyfasttrack.com. We're going to start with a quote from Mr. John. I wish I knew how to say his last name. I don't. But John said, listening is the new prospecting. Listening is the new prospecting. And that is so true. So today, hopefully you guys jumped in because you wanted to hear my top 3 lead gen secrets. My top 3 lead gen secrets. And I think you're going to be a little bit surprised today by what I am going to share. But these 3 things are really what I attribute my success to in terms of being able to bring in a massive amount of customers and being able to really bolster my business. So let's first start by really talking about what is lead gen. What is lead gen, right? Well, I'm going to say pretty much it's the activity, right, of looking for new people, new prospects, new leads, whatever you want to call them, new people that really may be interested in our products, our service, right? There are what I like to call future customers. In my business, I don't like to call them leads. I don't like to call them prospects. That sounds too impersonal for me. I like to call them future customers instead of leads or prospects. So you'll see me in this presentation, in everything I do, always talking about our future customers, and I suggest you do the same. Now with that, today's goal, pretty simple. I'm going to share the top 3 lead gen secrets I really employ, and hopefully I'm going to inspire you to start building really a steady stream of new leads to fill your sales funnel. Spoiler, next week, I already know what we're going to talk about. So last week, this week, and next week was planned. I'd already thought through what I really wanted to talk about. And next week, we're going to start talking about sales funnels. So if you missed last week we really talked about, closing and sales. This week, we're talking about lead gen, and then we're going to talk about funnels. I think you can see where we're going here. We're trying to help everyone understand that what's really important in your business, is these types of activities. Unfortunately, if you're anything like I was when I started my business, I focused on shiny objects and skills. I wanted to become a better web developer or a better SEO or better at my craft. Well, unfortunately, as a business owner, you move past your craft. You're no longer your craft. Instead, you're the business owner. So you're seeing what I'm trying to do here is help everyone get to the point of we have to be leaders. We have to be business owners and not doers. And these are the top 3 activities, right? Sales and closing. And then we get into lead generation, our future customers. And then next week, we're going to talk about those all important sales funnels or the tactics in which we bring it all together. The one thing I said last week, and we're going to start here. And if you missed last week, it was a really, really, really good week. So put replay in the comments. I'll make sure I send you the link to the replay. We are no longer putting the replays on Facebook. We are putting them all online now. Last week, I said, stop selling to sell more. Stop selling to sell more. Now think about that for a minute. I'm not going to get into everything about that, but I shared something very key last week, and that's where we're going to start today. I mentioned something called permission selling, right? Permission selling, meaning I only like to talk to people that I have permission to sell. Weird, right? What do I mean by that? Well, let's get right to it. Secret number one. Okay, 3 secrets today. Secret number 1, permission leads to admission. I'm going to say it again. Permission leads to admission. When I have permission from someone, right, and I take the time to really nurture and get in the door with that person in a way that feels super good to them, they are in turn much more open to what I am talking about, what I'm doing. Notice I didn't say what I'm selling, because I don't sell anymore. And if you missed last week, you'll see I don't sell anymore. I'm not a salesperson. I don't sell in my business. I'm a consultant and I solve problems. Totally different. But when I have permission from my future customer, they are going to give me admission. They're going to admit things in their life and their business. They're going to admit me into their life and business, and they're going to admit me to be able to sell to them. So every single lead generation method I employ leads to permission. Every single lead gen method I employ is permission based. So let's dive into that a little bit. Permission basically builds trust, right? It means that if they give us permission, they've already gained, even if it's just a teeny tiny bit, we have some permission to sell to them. And when that happens, that future customer is much more likely to be open and honest with us. Admission, right? They're going to admit things they normally wouldn't admit if they were defensive instead of trusting. Trusting is the place we want to be, because then they're going to tell us the things we need to know and hear in order to actually consult, find out what their true problems are, find out exactly what their pain points are, so then we can come in and help solve those problems for them. So permission is my very first secret, because now we don't always really think of it that way. And when I started realizing what I accidentally started doing, and I did it more for a selfish reason and not on purpose. I hated cold calling. I hated the act of selling. And I felt that permission gave me that out I needed to actually, do what I needed to do. But what I realized over time is it's actually key in the sales process. And one of the reasons why I'm so very successful, because I seek permission every time. If you've ever heard me on a sales call, even when someone calls me and says, hey, I want to hear about your products, I ask them a couple questions, but usually within the first 5 minutes of the call, I'll even say to them, hey, okay, so I really understand, this is what you're going to need, but I'm going to have to ask you, a few more questions and kind of dig in a little bit. Do you have time? I mean, is this a good time for us to do that? Or do you want to reschedule and maybe set up, a different time when you have more time? What am I doing? I'm asking permission. I'm constantly seeking permission to continue. hey, Mr. Customer, this question, it's probably going to be really personal and I kind of need to know. So, I mean, you're okay. Let me just ask. And if you're not okay, let me know. Notice again, I'm coming from that perspective of, hey, I'm not trying to be pushy and I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'd like your permission to get this honest with you, to get this deep with you, to do this thing with you. I'm constantly seeking permission from the very first step through sales. And it seems so small, the word permission, but it's so big. When you have permission, they're open to your solution. And I came up with a quote, and I actually started writing this. And when I was writing it, it turned into what I think I'm going to use as a quote. A future customer who is open to you about their real struggles will be open to your solution. I was trying to figure out a way to sum this up. And this is what I came up with. And I decided to, hey, make it a quote, right? So I'll use that around and kind of put it places, but it's so simple. A future customer who is open to you about their real struggles will be open to your solution. If somebody is telling you something personal, if they're telling you about their wife, their husband, their family, their mortgage they can't pay, anything personal, you now have someone who trusts you. They would not tell you those things if they didn't trust you. And that's almost like, gaining that permission, right? Now, permission lead generation. What's the key to this secret? Pretty simple. The lead gen methods I use get customers to reach out to me. Everything I do leads to somebody making a conscious choice to contact me, to download something I've offered, to watch something I have created. In a sense, I employ the same method with all of you guys. I don't ever just call you up and start talking to you. I don't ever just get in your face and start doing anything. I'm constantly asking questions like, who wants to learn my 3 secrets? Didn't I do that yesterday and this morning? And the people that are here right now, you guys gave me permission to share this information with you. Am I trying to sell you something? Well, yeah, of course I am. Agency Fast Track, we have programs, we have courses. Some of you guys are already in them, so this is just a value add to you. Others of you are not in our programs. Eventually, maybe you will. However, I'm not a hard pressure sales kind of gal. Instead, I figure if I offer enough value over time, people who finally realize, hey, I need help, guess who? They're going to turn to me for help. Again, it's the same principle, the same concept. You call it lead gen, call it whatever you want. But when you're trying to get customers, the best way is to let them come to you, because that's permission. Now, once you get that permission, it doesn't mean you jump all over them and hit them over the head with your sales tactics, right? It's not the way to do it either. And so we're going to have a couple more secrets we're going to add to this. But before we move on, one of the best, and I couldn't not give you some tips in here. One of the best permission methods I have, in my opinion, my personal favorite, is something that I created called new business letters, new business sales letters, whatever you want to call it. And these are simply letters, postcards, however you want to look at it. I actually reach out to brand new businesses that just form. I can find them using various methods, and I send them a letter. And I say in the letter, congratulations on opening your brand new business and welcome to small business ownership. I can personally tell you it's such a phenomenal journey to open your own business, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. In the end, I offer them a couple of things that they could check out, low cost offers that they can get in the door with. But I also always offer if you just want to jump on the phone and have a conversation, I would love to, absolutely free, jump on and give you some pointers about business. I started my journey 11 years ago, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. These new business letters have earned me over 7 figures in revenue in the customers it has brought me. And it all starts with permission. I reach out to someone and then I respectfully wait till they contact me. I don't send them a letter and then call them. I don't send a letter and then bug them. I send them a letter and I sit back. Maybe I'll send them another letter or something else, but it's very rare. I'm going to pick up a phone and I'm going to call someone and invade their time and space, because at that point, they did not give me permission to talk to them. Now, why am I like this? Because I hate cold calling with a passion. If you don't mind it, do it. But remember, somewhere in there, somewhere in your cold call process, picking up that phone, you need to get permission. Now, this method immediately garners trust. It leads to many future clients reaching out to us, and we have sold literally well over $1 million. I stopped counting after we went over $1 million. So I'm sure it's millions by now, but we sold a lot of services starting this way. Now, I'm not going to teach this method today. This is not what we do in Monday Mindset. If you want that kind of education, we do teach this method in our X Success program. If you're interested, reach out to us. Okay, I want to start with a word about cold permission, right? Because here's the thing, almost every single future customer, no matter when you reach out to them, if they have no clue who you are, it's essentially cold. It's a cold lead, so to speak, right? So how do we turn cold into permission lead gen? Now, I already told you in one method, I will actually send out letters. The actual future customer is cold when they receive my letter. So it's not like I have that warm list. Usually if you have a warm list, they're your customers, and that's a whole different Monday mindset. But to turn them from cold into at least permission, like, yeah, maybe I want a little more information. How do we do that? Well, that brings us to secret number 2. Again, I told you these secrets are going to probably surprise you a little bit, because they're more about our actions and less about methods, period. Because the method matters less than our actions. So secret number 2 is all about slow and steady patience. Patience is critical, both in the process and in the method, in the person and in everything you do. Patience is critical to build the kind of trust where your future customer essentially says, hey, can I buy this thing? That's my favorite. In fact, notice I've set up my entire structure so people basically shake me and say, please let me buy your services. And when they're not saying that, I'm usually not as interested. I don't like to have to talk people into anything. And patience, slow and steady. I nurture my future customers. I take my time with them. So when it comes time for me to ask for that sale, they're already probably telling me I already want it, like I want it. I've literally had customers in the middle of our process be like, okay, come on. Like, can you just give me a price? Because they're so ready. They're so anxious. They already want to buy. But I actually help them have patience as well, because we want to do this right? We want to win the race. We don't want to just be in the race, right? We want to win the race. We don't want to just be in the race. And that's another great quote. So secret number 2 is patience. Obviously, permission means we already have a modicum of trust from them, right? They've given us a little bit of trust. With permission, our future customer is obviously more likely to be open and honest. We've already talked about that. But trust takes time. Sure, they're open to it, but we still have to build that trust. And trust does not happen easily. It does not happen quickly. It's something that we have to build with them over a time period. And admission, as we talked about before, builds that trust. So one of the things to being patient is we want to take the time to get to know our future customer. We want to seek to gain personal insight. I'll repeat that, personal insight into their business and their life. Now, most people say, oh, I get business, like we need business details, but it's not our place to seek personal insight into their life. And that's just not true. We do have to seek personal insight into their life. We have to know some things about them. And the more personal we can get, the better off we are. Because every admission that they bring us builds trust. When they tell us, oh man, I need more leads, that's an admission. We're building trust. But when we probe them, which again, if you missed last week, I'll get you the replay, go back and watch that. When we probe them and say, well, what do you mean? What do you mean by you need more leads? And then they give us more information. That's more admission, and that admission builds more trust. So we just have to be patient, right? We should not be in a call thinking to ourselves, okay, when can I bring up the sale? Okay, when am I going to tell them the price? Like, stop thinking. I gather information in one call and then I set up a sales call separately because, and I do that on purpose. If I'm gathering information, I'm consulting, and I know I can't sell, and I've given myself a hard no, you're not allowed to sell on this call, then I know all I can do is sit there and get as many admissions as possible to build that trust. I'm going to be patient and take my time. And that's key. So it's a stepped approach, right? We always start with a low cost or no cost solution, right? Then we deliver in really an amazingly superior, I'm going to repeat that, amazingly superior way, and watch how fast they become our trusted partners. Somebody hires me to do a $5 design on Fiverr. I'm going to amazingly deliver. The way I talk to them, the way I treat them, the way I handle them. Why? Because they could be a $500,000 client. How do I know that? Because it's happened to me. I have many six-figure customers I got from something like a $5 postcard design on Fiverr. I started with that low cost or no cost solution, and I was patient. You see, in our business, we tend to think, fast. Let's go buy this system that's going to bring us a ton of leads because somebody promised it would. How qualified are those leads? What kind of quantity do we want compared to quality? So it's super important for us to think about this stepped approach. We want to take our time and we want to have patience. Along the way, we want to create value. Because when we continue to provide value, that trusted partner trusts us more and more and more. And once we've become that trusted partner, like, you know what, I trust Lisa so much. She has never steered me wrong. Sure, maybe they've only got a postcard or two or three, or maybe they've done small jobs with me. But once I become that trusted partner and I've taken that patience to that very limit, I can sell that customer almost anything. They will come to me and ask me first before they go out and buy from other people. Like, hey, do you do this? Because they'd rather use me because they already know me. They already trust me. And that's why patience is key. We can't rush our relationships, right? And the ladies will definitely get this more than the guys. And I shouldn't generalize, but I am. If we were dating, and I just met you, and on the first date, you wanted to go to the honeymoon suite and get married, I I just met you. I'm probably not going to do that. And I'm probably going to break off the relationship because that's just weird. Same thing goes in business, right? We can't go from we just met to getting married. It's weird. It's weird. So we want to become that trusted partner. Now, my best patience method. And if you've been with me for years, if you've been in our community for years, you're going to be surprised by this. If you're brand new, you probably won't. My personal favorite is now cold email. Yeah, wait, what? Like, what, Lisa? You hate cold email. I used to hate cold email. I used to hate cold email, but I have come to truly admire it. Not because it sells anything, not because it's fast, because it's simple. And because I am a patient person, it can start the process. Sure, I could send out postcards and I can send out mailers, and I still do those things. But I've added on cold email because I can reach a much bigger audience for less money. I can reach a much more targeted audience for less money than other methods. And again, same thing. I must be patient. That first email rarely, unless I'm selling some crazy, fancy, great widget, right? That first cold email rarely sells. We have to go from the cold email to either a consultation or a landing page or something else. And that's why it's my best patience method, because it should be the first step in a longer process. Okay, last secret. And we try to keep these around a half hour. We're coming up on that. Last secret. Secret number 3, perseverance. Perseverance. It scales your business. Perseverance is what takes you from good to great. Perseverance is what takes you from less money to more money. Perseverance is what takes you from no figures to 4 figures, 4 figures to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7, 7 to 8. Perseverance. There is no such thing as an overnight success. Every overnight success usually had worked 10, 20 or more years before they got there, right? No such thing. When we think about that, secret number 3, I want you to think about every method. Every single method will take time to perfect. Everyone. Even if I give you the methods, you go through X success and you get all of our methods, right? And you start doing all those methods. We show you step by step by step how to do every single method. In our new program, we're debuting. And by the way, at the end of this, I'm going to tell you about a webinar to be on August 2nd. We're debuting our brand new course. Now, we had a founder group go through it, but even that, when we give you step by step by step, it'll still take time for you to perfect, for your area, for your locale, for your country, for your audience, for you personally. Perseverance is what gets you through that. Every future customer will take time to nurture. Not some close quickly, some take forever. All of them take time. And perseverance is what helps us follow up just one more time. Why not? What does it hurt? Try this method one more time. Why not? What does it hurt? It's that perseverance that gets us through. You must persevere. I work on some aspect of lead gen every single week in my business without fail, whether it's working on one of my funnels, whether it's working on one of my lead gen strategies, every single week without fail. I persevere to ensure that I have a steady flow of leads coming into all of my businesses. And if you don't know, I own 3 now. I'm in 3 separate businesses, and each one of them works exactly the same. These tips are exactly the same. So most important, right? What's most important to you? Well, I'll tell you what's most important to me: lead generation and client acquisition. Lead generation and client acquisition. There's a reason the group that this exact call comes out of is called Client Acquisition and Scaling, because client acquisition is number 1 in business. It's number one. Yet most people focus on skills. Skills. Oh, I need to be a better web developer. I need to be a better SEO. No, you don't. You can't even employ those skills if you don't have customers. Lead generation and client acquisition are most important in your business. So stop the madness, right? When you persevere, you have to stop doing the things that are unimportant and only focus on things that build revenue in your business, lead gen and sales. You are no longer the worker. You are now the leader. And as such, you cannot do those unimportant things, right? We have to persevere. We have to persevere in reaching out, working on lead gen, building trust, nurturing clients, building our freedom business. Anytime you see this blank background behind me, it's because I'm sitting in my lake home up at my lake property. I own 15 acres on a gorgeous lake in Texas with this beautiful home, and I can come here whenever I want. That's a freedom business, but it didn't happen overnight. I've wanted a place like this for probably 20 years, and we're going into year 12. In October, we'll go into our 12th year in our first business. It doesn't happen overnight, but I persevered. I saw what I wanted and I went after it. And I followed the things you're learning today, right? So my best perseverance method, every damn method I have, every one. Why? Because every method you have to test, tweak, test, tweak, test, tweak. Because nothing, even if I give you the method with step by step, you still got to figure out a few things. Maybe it's how you send, who you send to, the list you get, where you get the list. And again, I could give you all that stuff, but you still have to persevere and do it. And if you fail, you have to do it again. Every single method that has made me 7 figures, every single one was a bust when I first started using it. The first time I sent out the new business letters, nothing, zero, nada. I got no reply. The second time I sent them out, I made like $470, less than $500. But I persevered. I sent them out a third time. On the third time, I broke even. Most people would have quit, but I persevered. I sent out those new business letters the 4th time with a few slight tweaks. Boom, landed a $15,000 a year customer that stayed with me for 2 years. That's 30 grand. All in, at that moment, 4 months in, I was less than $4,000 in, but I had earned $30,000. Persevere. When you persevere and you keep going, that is when you will find success. So I didn't realize it till after I created this presentation that these are 3 P's, right? Permission, patience, and perseverance. The 3 P's to lead gen. So that's what I'm going to call it. These are my 3 secrets to a successful lead gen strategy, right? And my lead gen strategy, every one of my methods creates a steady stream of qualified future customers or buyers of my products and services. Permission, patience, and perseverance. So if you missed last week and you haven't realized it, we're leading up to something. We're leading to our big launch. We have a new program coming out. Hands down, it's simply one of the best programs we've ever put together. But more importantly, every program we always put out, we have founders. We have people who come in and test everything and we tweak it and we make it perfect. Most of the time, we don't have in the founders group amazing success. We have a little success because we're just learning. In this new program, we have had like the best success I've ever seen in a new program. People are crushing it. They're landing customers, they're making money, and it's happening fast. So I'm super excited about our new program, again, August 2nd. But if you missed last week, Remember, last week, this week, and next week, they build on each other. They're helping you with your lead gen, customer acquisition, which is really what this group is all about. So if you missed that session, you haven't done so, type replay in the comments. We're going to reach out to everyone on Facebook, obviously, because you're in that group, and we'll send you a link to where you can go watch that replay. If you're seeing this on a replay for some reason and you need that one, wherever you got this, go ahead and reach out and we'll get you that replay as well. So what are our next steps? Obviously, start implementing what you learned, right? However, we also have an amazing course, Agency Fast Track X Success. It's a great course. Yes, it's a building block for our next course, but one or the other aren't needed to take each one. So go check that out. There's a link where you can check it out. Also, register for our free class. We're going to have a free class on August 2nd. It's going to be the day after the next Monday Mindset, and it's going to be kind of, I would say, the Super Bowl of this series, really showing you what you can do. And then we're going to introduce you to our next product, which is called Agency Fast Track Revenue System. And it really delivers on those words. In fact, we have delivered for 38 founding members who have already gone through the program, and all of them are getting amazing success. So do register for that class, and you can register right here. Go to aftrs.agencyfasttrack.com/register. It's on August 2nd. We believe it's going to be 2 or 2:30 Central Time. You're not actually registering for the Zoom. We're just taking email addresses. We're trying to figure out, can we do it on Zoom or do we have to cut over? If we have too many people, we'll have to cut over and do it on GoToMeeting or GoToWebinar. So do register for that. We're going to do a 90 minutes. This one's going to be a good chunky free training for you guys. And in the end, yes, we're going to debut and show you our new program. Here's the killer thing. You got to be there. And here's why. We opened up the founders group in November of last year to 30 people. That's how many people we were going to accept before we even had a chance. We opened it Thursday morning, I believe Friday morning on a Black Friday. And then I went shopping. I came back, we already had 30 people and I had to shut it down. We ended up with 38 because I couldn't even shut it down fast enough. So we have an entire wait list already for the next program. We're still opening a limited spot. I think it's 50 spots this time, but it's going to go quick. So if it's something you know about already, you're interested in, 100% be on that call. Those people are going to get first crack at going ahead and signing up for that class. And by the way, it's going to be one of our least expensive courses we've ever put out. So that doesn't hurt either. Okay, I'm going to end with a quote we've ended with for the past couple of weeks, because I'm trying to help you guys understand one thing. You are only one decision away from a totally different life. You make that decision every day, again and again. Oh, I don't feel like doing this. Stop. Think about it. You need to do that. Go do it. Oh, you know what? I'm too afraid to do that. Stop. Think about it. You probably need to do it. You see, we second guess ourselves all the time and we don't take action. You just learned the 3 Ps, right? And these tips are highly successful. So now you just need to make the decision to implement them. You need to make the decision to come to the training next week and the week after and the week after, to come to the August 2nd training. Those are decisions you make. And I promise you, every decision you make can lead to a totally different life. I'm living it, and I am not special. So hopefully we will see you next week, as we always do. We do this every single week, client acquisition and scaling for web devs, SEO, and marketing agency on Monday at 10 a.m. And as always, you must change your mindset to change your business.